have a plan. I have a plan. Now we can get our money back, and then some.
Double or nothing for our clothes.
Come on, you got to seize the goddamn gap.
People are so goddamn inefficient.
Oh, god damn it! I don't care if you're old, seize the gap!
Welcome back to Seize the Gap. I'm Jamie G, and I'm here with Magnum Mills to help you seize the gap and stop being so inefficient. The 2025 football season is upon us, and we're kicking things off in week one with games on Thursday and Friday nights. We've got something for everyone on this episode: fantasy advice, Draftkings picks, wagers, and of course, one Philadelphia Eagles fan. Mills, we've heard enough about your favorite team over the last 6 months, so this is your chance to brag before we wipe the slate clean.
You know, I don't want to brag. I just want to question Jerry Jones. Maybe it's the same thing, but I'm starting to question if he's really this super genius businessman, right? I mean, the Cowboys are worth a lot and everything, but no one really thinks he's quite on the ball these days. So he should recognize a massive opportunity. You know what we want in Philadelphia? Jerry's tears. They need to lose this opening night game. He needs to just let the tears flow freely, bottle them right on national TV, sell them joints. They will sell out in Philadelphia like nothing. Doesn't matter what the state of the economy is. I mean, they're buying Instagram girls bathwater or whatever like that. Philadelphians will pay for the tears of Jerry Jones. So Jerry Jones, if you're really a good businessman, you need to get on top of that.
And this is your master plan, huh?
Oh, no. No, this is a whole other awesome thing. This is just a goof.
And thank you for being on top of things with Seize the Gap Fantasy Football. We've got fantasy football and much, much more. Maybe not much, much more, but at least much more. Thanks again for checking out the show. You can find us wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube. We're on social media at Seize the Gap FF. Same place on the web, seizethegapff.com. Try to keep it easy to remember, just like the flaps, FLAPS. Very crucial to our success. Follow, like, and please subscribe. If you had fun, please hit the thumb. And as we're discussing things, you should know everything is about as accurate as it can be as of Tuesday, September 2nd, 2025. And we are getting our odds from the Draftkings Sportsbook.
We're going to be talking about the Thursday night matchup between the Cowboys and Eagles in Philadelphia in that Friday night game in Sao Paulo between the Chiefs and the Chargers. Mills, spare us your Rocky impression and hit us with the tail of the tape.
I didn't hear no bell.
In the Thursday night game, we have the Dallas Cowboys. They're 8.5-point road dogs, plus 310 on the money line, traveling to Philadelphia to play my Eagles. 8.5-point favorites, minus 395 on the money line. Game total in this one is 47.5 points. Even juice, minus 110 on both sides of that one. In the Friday night game in Sao Paulo, Brazil, we have the Kansas City Chiefs, 3-point favorites, technically on the road, minus 170 on the money line. The Chargers are technically the home team here, the Los Angeles Sao Paulo Chargers, plus 3 points as the underdog, plus 142 on the money line. Game total in this one is 45.5. Once again, even Steven, minus 110 on the under and the over. No real injury issues or suspension issues to note, just the stuff we already know about. Rashawn Slater out for the Chargers. Rashee Rice suspended for the Chiefs. A couple other minor injuries, but nothing that's really going to make a major impact in our wagering and our fantasy teams. No real weather impact either. So looking pretty good here, man. Jamie G, kind of overall thoughts on this one? I know it's always interesting. Let's just start out with this. Do you like the Thursday, Friday thing? I think this is the second year in a row from, a kind of a wagering fantasy standpoint. Do you like it, or is it a little bit too much too fast?
It comes up quick on you. I'm not a big wagering on the preseason type guy, so out of nowhere, all of a sudden there's tons of stuff. But I think it's a good way to kind of get into the season and you kind of, get this busy weekend. There's a ton of excitement around it. It also keeps me not going super crazy because I've got a little bit of things kind of 4 or 5 nights out of the week here. I don't have to go nuts on the Sunday slate trying to find stuff because there's a couple other things here and there. As a fan, I absolutely love it. I mean, come on. I get a Thursday nighter, I get a Friday nighter, I got college football all day Saturday, and then I get to take in NFL football on Sunday night, and Monday night. Yeah, life doesn't get much better than that. Mills, injury, weathers, you covered that. The one thing just to be cautious of on the Kansas City Chargers, it's an international game. I know it's week one and nobody's at a disadvantage in terms of schedule yet, but it's still a major shakeup to your normal routine, your normal, even for an away game, it's still way different. And you're playing on a field that is neutral and it isn't made for NFL football. So those are the one things that I would add there that I think are is worth mentioning.
Yeah, I think the international game probably comes more into play with the wagering stuff, or maybe in like your survivor leagues. I think in
Yep.
fantasy, for the most part, you're just going to have to kind of trust how it is. Unfortunately, if the field's really bad, it will affect both teams negatively. My Eagles did play there last year against the Packers on opening night, pretty high scoring affair. So I know there were some complaints. They had to switch the bigger cleats at halftime, the longer spikes or what have you, that kind of thing. But there still were a lot of points scored. So we have a lot of hope for that. And you talk about it, everyone's excited for it. Apparently, Jerry Jones' thing is he wants to be in the news. Obviously, the big story is the trade of Micah Parsons. Kind of how is that changing your approach to the Cowboys this year? From a wagering standpoint, do you really that far down them? Do you believe Jerry a little bit that maybe they'll be stronger against the rush enough that they discount some of the loss of pass rush a little bit, or do you think he's just full of it and man they got hosed a little bit? Where kind of you at in your approach to the Cowboys now? How has it changed after the trade?
Well, I feel a lot better from a survivor standpoint about taking Philadelphia week one. I felt good about it anyways, but this kind of really cemented it. I thought Dallas was going to be a team that was going to have a lot of problems anyways. You took away their best player, arguably on both sides of the football, certainly on the defensive side of the football. I mean, just a 26-year-old, stud pass rusher just never should ever become available on the open market, ever, as a proven commodity. So I think Jerry Jones, while I like Kenny Clark, I think he's decent against the run and everything. Yeah, you got two firsts, but man, this to me, I think Dallas really messed up here. It remains to be seen. I think that defense and team in general is worse without him. The whole idea was we've got this prolific potential on offense. We can get up on points, make the other team one-dimensional, and then just release Micah Parsons in the pass rush on him. Well, that element is gone now. There's nobody else on the defense that you're actually game planning against. They had that. It's hard to find that person. They had him. So for me, I think I'm going to be more likely to pick against Dallas come Survivor situations and also within this division. But then from a fantasy perspective, I think it's going to force Dallas to have to score more points. So I think it's probably a little bit better for their offense in a way because they're not gonna be able to just shut people down defensively. Not that they could. It's not like he was the whole team or anything. But dude, it is a bit. You can't. It's like you have the best left tackle in the game and you trade him. Having the best like pass rusher in the game, at least top two pass rushers in the game. Like maybe if people want to nitpick, I think he's the best pass rusher in the game, and to just get rid of him like that, to me, it made your team weaker.
I don't think there's any way around it. I think you have a great point there. It should juice the prospects of the Dallas offense. Just you're going to be in situations where you have to throw more. We're not
Yeah.
that far removed from 2 seasons ago. That was one of the best defenses in the league. You,
Yeah.
you lose Dan Quinn and now you lose Parsons, and all of a sudden you look at some of the on-field off numbers for Parsons and that defense, and it is starkly different, man. It is like night and day. And do you have enough confidence in this Dallas offense that they can maybe do enough to at least kind of keep Dallas in the hunt for the playoffs? I like the addition of Pickens. I'm kind of ambivalent about the way they address the running back position. I have a little bit of hope for Jaden Blue, but I don't know that he's really going to get that much burn early in the year. I think they're going to go with Javonte Williams, who I loved as a prospect. I feel bad for him. He had a horrific knee injury. I just don't know if he's there. And again, Miles Sanders just past his prime. I just don't know what's going to happen here. So to me, this could just shape up to be one of those like maybe the poor man's version of the Bengals offense, right? It's just going to be Dak just airing it out to CD and Pickens a lot.
I think it is, and where I worry most is if their defense can't stop anyone, they can't if they can't get a run game going, teams are just going to tee off on Dak. At one point, Dallas had one of the best offensive lines in the league. They're trying to rebuild to that, but they don't today. So that's my concern there is just not being balanced. CD is very good. Dak is good. It works with Jamar Chase and T. Higgins and Joe Burrow. They also have an outstanding play caller in Zach Taylor. We'll see about Brian Schottenheimer here. The Brian Schottenheimer I know wants to be able to run the football, to set up the play action, and be able to open up the field down the field. We'll see if they're able to do that with the talent they have.
feels like a spot where Jerry is going to make a trade. I'm calling probably one of the Jaguars running backs. Travis Etienne kind of makes a lot of sense if he's available on the cheap, possibly. Just kind of something to keep an eye on there. I don't know if I can be totally unbiased about my Eagles, but I do have a couple worries. So let me just ask you, what do you think's the bigger worry for the Eagles? That Saquon Barkley kind of has some regression here, a running back of that workload, regardless of age, is almost always taking a step back, or the fact that they have basically the youngest and cheapest defense in the league, which is how they have the most expensive offense in history, really. We lost a decent number of guys on the defense. It scares me. It looks like we have some young players ready to step up, but it's a relatively inexperienced crew, and I'm worried they could start the year out a little bit slowly. Which concerns you more, man? Maybe Barkley backsliding a little bit as the engine of the offense, or the defense just being a little green? No pun
Well,
intended.
total Jamie G answer here. I think early in the season, it's the defense. I think as the season goes along, Vic Fangio will find a way to get the most of them. He might have to move people in and out of safety or corner or whatever. Like he might have to make some changes to make up for some of the things you've lost, or he'll figure out a way to get the most out of it. But it may take half a season. Whereas with Barkley, early on, I think he'll be fine. Even if he doesn't get the same amount of yardage, and he takes a little bit of his historic season was good enough, and the offense is good enough. Where I think even if he takes a little bit back, they're still going to be really good. But I think in the long run, you kind of worry about him down the stretch as they get to December and playoff football. They want to be able to really ride him. It's so hard to duplicate what he did last year, just the sheer volume of it. If anyone can do it, it's Saquon Barkley. I mean, he's still relatively young, but there's some miles there's some tread on that tire, man. Or not much tread left on that tire, I should say. He's been used a lot throughout his entire career. So it'll be interesting to see. But I think in the short run, Eagles defense being green, they lost a lot of key pieces where people just went and got huge contracts. They just couldn't afford to sign them. And then, Saquon kind of as the year goes on, can he stay healthy and can he give the same level of production and volume he gave last year? Those are the two biggest concerns there.
Yeah, I feel a little bit better if Saquon hadn't had the injury history he had with the Giants to a certain degree. I know he was pretty clean coming out of college, and it was more, other than the ACL, it was more kind of nitpicky injuries and random stuff here. But it just scares you. It's any running back who's come off this workload. He can be a 23-year-old. It's a massive workload. So I think there's a lot of truth to what you said there. And it could also mean that the Eagles players are going to pay off their fantasy ADPs. I mean, almost everybody on that Eagles offense, with the exception of Goddard, is going in like the first 4 rounds of fantasy drafts, regardless of format. You even got the quarterback going in the first couple of rounds there. So I think there's certainly a lot of hope and expectations there. And if the Eagles D isn't so great, probably offers you some options there early in the season. And if you own Saquon, probably make sure you have Will Shipley on your bench. I think that's the guy, despite the fact that they're trying to make AJ Dillon happen. If anyone can make AJ Dillon happen, hopefully it's my Eagles. On the other game there, how about the impact of Rashawn Slater, the all-world left tackle, being lost for the season by the Chargers? Good for him. He had just gotten the bag. He had gotten paid. I think the Chargers are probably better suited than almost any team because they can move last year's was your number 5 overall pick, Joe Alt, right over from right tackle to his natural left tackle. They have a pretty solid swing tackle they can stick in there. Right tackle, his name's escaping me at the moment. Still a pretty solid offensive line. Not a lot of depth there. They've been banged up a little bit at wide receiver, but I do like them bringing Keenan Allen back. It's just weird. All these little things with Najee Harris, Trey Harris, Quentin Johnson, just banged up a lot already. And that's been the Chargers for years, right? They always seem to be just perpetually banged up. So that definitely gives me a little bit of pause here. I still like what they're going to do, but I'm just worried their ceiling isn't as high as I thought it was maybe a month ago.
I think the Rashawn Slater injury is massive. Massive, yes. The right tackle can go over there and play left, but he was dominant at right tackle. And if they were able to keep him there for another year and keep Slater at left, you're looking at a team that might have the best,
It's the best bookends in the league.
In the league. So I mean, to go from that to now you've weakened he's not as good as Rashawn Slater at left tackle. So you're weaker there, and then you took an outstanding right tackle. You're pushing him over to the left, where he's going to see a different type of pass rush and a different type of defensive alignments and stuff on the left side. And then can he do it? Sure, but is he as good? No. And the sling tackle, yes, he's good. But now you're kind of putting them in a full-time position. It also changes some of the things they do when they go to jumbo. So I think this is a bigger injury than you want. Are they still going to run the football? And that's going to be their identity? Yes, because that's who they are. but there's no question, man, that you don't just lose an all-pro left tackle and like life goes on and everything's great. There's gonna be a dip here for him. There just is.
Yeah, well, at least they did get, I think there's a couple of young running backs we're really excited about. Omari and
Yeah.
Hampton was, almost chief among them. And this weird Najee Harris fireworks thing, I mean, this could be kind of infamous, right? Because the whole idea was they gave him this contract. All right, they're going to kind of make him earn it as a rookie, and this gave him an opportunity to really get in there. It looks like Harris kind of realizes what's up. He's really kind of pushing to get back on the field here. But I still think Hampton is going to be a thing, and he could maybe even, be right up there with Janty as the most valuable fantasy running back, at least in the rookie years. So are you as high on him as I am? Because I'm pretty damn high on the kid.
I mean, dude, I'm Snoop Dogg, looking eye to eye
You
with the
kissing the
giraffe here,
sky over
dude.
there,
Like
dude?
yeah, dude, like I'm super high on Hampton. And here's why. I don't know that there's a better physical player that describes what Harbaugh wants to do with the Chargers. He is the perfect fit. You thought J.K. Dobbins was good, and he was before injury. Hampton can be that plus, plus. I am ecstatic to see Marion Hampton. I think he could be a gigantic slam from a fantasy standpoint. When the Chargers had their success last year, it's when they were able to have those big running games with J.K. Dobbins, and then they could kind of open up some options in the passing game. It sucks if you're a big Herbert fan and you want him early. He's just not going to get the volume. And when he does, the team doesn't seem to do that great. He has the arm for it. He's one of the best natural throwers of the football. He can make all the throws. Really good quarterback. But dude, having Hampton in there changes his team so much. I love Hampton both from a player prop standpoint and from a season long and daily fantasy standpoint.
Yeah, as long as he's ready and he can hit, hold up and pass, bro. I want to see him out there. I hate it sometimes when coaches do the deliberate thing and they make the rookie earn it, even though he's obviously the best player. So I think the Chargers need the juice on the offense, to be quite frank with you. Najee Harris is fine. He's serviceable. He's like a replacement level. He's Rico Dodal. There's nothing wrong with that. That's just who he is at this point. Hampton just offers such far greater upside. And we talked about the Chargers though line. The Chiefs have had problems on the offensive line for years now, probably since they traded Orlando Brown to the Bengals. Do you think they finally cracked it here? All reports seem like Simmons, they drafted in the late first round there, is going to be ready to go. They did have to trade Joe Thuney away, but they were very, very strong on the interior of that line to begin with. I know as a Bills fan, you don't want it to be the truth, but you think they might have finally made some real progress on the OL here?
I think they're going to be better on the exterior. They were so strong inside. They still have a very good center. They still have a very good left guard. Losing Joe Thuney at right guard, he was one of the best guards in all of football. Probably still is. He's getting a little long in the tooth. I mean, people forget he was very good with New England and then went to Kansas City and was very good with Kansas City. So, he's a little long in the tooth. They were so strong inside. I think they could probably plug someone in. They were really weak on the outside. I think they probably made some improvements there. I expect them to be better this year.
Yeah, I mean, anything's got to be better than the right tackle, Juwan Taylor, getting off to like the 2 second head start, right?
Yeah, but I mean, he got away with it, so it didn't really matter. But yeah, I mean, of course, they never called the penalty on that.
Yeah, well, at least they didn't win the Super Bowl. Took all that to get everyone to root against them, though, and to root for Philadelphia. It took an awful lot. We'll see if the Taylor Swift Kelsey engagement thing moves the needle at all, but we'll see. I don't know
I
that
just want
there's
the details of the prenup, Mills. That's all I want. Give me the dirty details of that prenup.
just let me be the paralegal to the lawyer that negotiated that prenup. I just
Yeah,
want my percent of a percent, man. That's enough.
that
Yeah, I mean,
is
it's just Kelsey
enough.
alone. They got 100. Dude, what do you got to do to get $100 million podcast, man? I don't know. Be famous, I guess.
Yeah, I guess, man.
Just
And you
spit
know
on that
what?
thing.
That's what you got to do. And it is time for some classic Seize the Gap fantasy football. Mills, who are the usual suspects here for fantasy? Who are the guys that we're locking in our lineups like John Thundergun? No hesitation, no surrender, hang the dog.
Gotta hang dong, dude. It's more of a ding than a dong. Sometimes depends if it's cold out, but you got to do what you got to do. On the Philadelphia Eagles, no hesitation, no surrender. Go ahead, plug Jalen Hurts, Saquon Barkley, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, and Jake Elliott, the kicker, into your lineups. On the Cowboys side of things, I think CeeDee Lamb and Brandon Aubrey, the kicker, are probably your only auto plays. Dak Prescott looks like a fine play, but there is a chance he is your QB2, so you might have a tough call. On the Kansas City side of things, you are probably locking in Patrick Mahomes, Xavier Worthy, and Travis Kelce. Again, a little bit of worries about Kelce, but you probably drafted him as your tight end one, and I don't know that you're going to have gotten a better option unless you really bang two tight ends early. And then on the Chargers side of the ball, go ahead, start a Marion Hampton, the laddie, Lad McConkey, and Jamie G's guy. His prediction for number one kicker, Cameron Dicker, the kicker. So yeah, I know you're feeling pretty good about that. You got your guy's name in there, Mr. Dicker, the kicker. And let's do a couple of start sits here. We've gone around. We're trying to find just a couple of scenarios here with guys involved in this game you might be looking at in your fantasy leagues. Jamie G, first call here. We had Nick Chubb. We had Javonte Williams. We're going to stay start Nick Chubb, now playing for the Texans at the Rams over Javonte Williams. Why did you lean towards Chubb here, Jamie G?
Yeah, so I think Chubb's going to get all the work here or most of it to start the season. This is an offense that to me has proved they can run the football. And we know what happens when they do with Nico Collins down the field with the play action and everything. So to me, I just think this is going to be, a team that's got a really good defense that's going to be in games. They're going to have the opportunity to run the football. Nick Chubb, I understand what he's coming off of. I don't think he's a viable long-term option, but early on, I just like him over Javonte Williams here. We still don't know who's going to run the football, full time for Dallas, what that's going to look like. Brand new, coach here, and how they're gonna figure that out. Philadelphia also is really tough against the run. So I just for all those reasons, I felt like Nick Chubb was a better option.
I totally agree. I think the game script will be a lot more favorable, and he is going to just have much, not locked in usage. I'm sure they're going to get Ogunbowale out there. Woody Marks will probably see a couple snaps, but the Cowboys could go full on hot hand at some point. So,
Yeah.
and who knows who'll be out there on passing downs, and that's what you're looking for in PPR leagues. Then we've got Jake Ferguson, the Cowboys tight end, and Colston Loveland, the rookie tight end for the Bears. Bears are at home playing the Vikings. We both went with Jake the Snake, Jake Ferguson. I just think the Cowboys are going to have to air it out a little bit, and I think Chicago, a lot of cooks in the kitchen, a lot of mouths to feed, and rookie tight ends not named Brock Bowers and Sam Laporta usually ain't doing the thing. Is that about what you were thinking here with this one?
Yeah, I think they're gonna, Dallas is gonna have to, play like they're going to have to be on the aggressive and air the football out. They've also proven that they use a tight end, and there's only one. Whereas with Chicago, they've got two tight ends. I know they're going to want to use Colston Loveland. It's just rookie coach, second year quarterback, rookie tight end. Let's see how this thing shakes up. If you ask me this week 5, it very likely could be Colston Loveland, but for right now, it's going to be Jake Ferguson.
Yeah, I think absolute best case scenario, Loveland's fourth or fifth in the pecking order there. While I think Ferguson's a very clearly third option for the Cowboys passing offense, who should attempt more passes against probably a more favorable defense. At this point, I'd probably take the Vikings defense over the Eagles defense. So I think there's a lot to like there. Then we have an interesting one. We have Bryce Young kind of coming into his own in year 3 here. The Panthers are traveling to Jacksonville to play the Jags. And then you got Justin Herbert here in the Friday night game. I think maybe some surprising to some people, but really not to me. We're going with Bryce Young here. I think we talked a bit about why we might be worried a little bit about Herbert. I'm not super optimistic about Young, but I think that game could be a little bit of a creeper shootout. If Jacksonville does have a weakness, it probably is on the outside at the boundary corners. And, Bryce Young looked good enough last year. We don't care if they win, if they put up a lot of points. And I just like that game environment, more for the points. If the Chargers get it done, I think it's probably more on the back of Hampton. What's your kind of take there on the Bryce Young over the Herbert?
Yeah, look, Kansas City's defense is a lot better than Jacksonville's, and Justin Herbert with Jim Harbaugh as coach is not going to just be, airing it out against the Chiefs on the first game of the season in Brazil. They're going to control the clock and run the football. I think Bryce Young's going to have a lot more opportunity here with Jacksonville. If Jacksonville's offense is as good as we think that they're going to be, they're going to have to kind of throw the football. Also, Bryce Young really came into his own at the end of last season. Like the play caller there in Carolina, he's certainly got some weapons too, some young weapons. I just think he's going to have a lot more opportunity than Justin Herbert will in this game.
Yeah, it would help a lot if at least one of Jatavian Sanders or Xavier Legette could take a step forward here. Obviously you got Tet McMillan there, the rookie. So a lot of excitement there, a lot of big, fast guys. Hopefully that works out. Next up, let's go with some guys who were maybe more quick than fast at one point and definitely getting a little bit older here. You have Keenan Allen now of the Chargers once again. Hollywood Brown re-signed with the Chiefs, going against each other. We're both on Team Keenan Allen. For me, it's partially because I don't know if I'm going to bet on it or not, but I feel like we're getting the Keenan Allen welcome home touchdown here, even down in Sao Paulo. And he's just a nice PPR guy. 4 catches for 55 yards and a touchdown sounds about right. Whereas I think Brown probably needs the big splash play to get home. That was my thinking. Why'd you go with Keenan Allen over Hollywood?
Yeah, I just for one, Hollywood Brown's coming off of an injury. We haven't seen him play. He was really spotty last year. Really haven't seen him play in consistently since he was in Arizona. And before that with Baltimore. So I don't trust that. And also with Keenan Allen, I think he's going to have some opportunity because they can literally put Keenan Allen and Lad McConkey there, and you can't cover them both. So I think Keenan Allen's going to get a lot more opportunity, and there's a comfort level there. I just don't have a lot of confidence in Hollywood Brown coming off that ankle. Maybe 2, 3 weeks in, you could see Hollywood Brown kind of take a step here, but for this game in this matchup, I think Keenan Allen's probably the better move.
Yeah, I'm with you there. And even throughout the course of the season, he has the existing connection with Herbert. It just
Yeah.
makes too much sense. I think that would be my guy both this week and probably season long. If you're in a deeper league or a league where you have to start 3 wide receivers, 2 flexes, something like that, or where these guys are going to be, the type of guys you're considering once you get down your bench a little bit more. And then finally, we have Chiefs running back Isaiah Pacheco and Giants running back Tyrone Tracy Jr. We're both going with Pacheco. I'm not convinced that he's the long-term running back for the Kansas City Chiefs, but I think he's the best one they got now. And I just don't know how committed the Giants are to Tracy. Obviously, like Scadaboo, they're still keeping Devin Singletary around. I wish they used Tracy in the passing game. He's a former wide receiver. He's got the hands for it, but he's got the fumbling problem. So I'm just a bit apprehensive here. I feel better about Pacheco scoring a touchdown. Why did you land on the Kansas City side? I know that's tough for you to do.
It is. One, Pacheco's healthy. They're going to, early in the season here, they're going to try to also control the clock. They're looking for some explosives. They don't have Rashee Rice. I think early on in the season here, they're going to lean a little bit on the run game and take their shots when they can. Whereas with Tyrone Tracy, there's too many cooks in the kitchen there. He's got the fumble problem. And I just think they drafted Cam Scadaboo. They really like Devin Singletary. He's been with Dable since the days in Buffalo. There's just not that many mouths to feed there. So I definitely am going to go with Isaiah Pacheco for those reasons.
Yeah, I know they keep going back to Kareem Hunt. Yes, he doesn't fumble. He knows the plays. He gets what's blocked for him, but he was not particularly effective in short yardage last year. So maybe they'll try to bang him in there once or twice, but I think when they get around the goal line, they'll find out quickly that Pacheco is their best option.
DraftKings offers a ton of showdown contest options for each of these games, and we got a couple of picks to help you out. What do you think here, Mills? Should I make a Captain Ron joke or just do the whole look at me, I'm the captain now thing?
The correct answer is actually to do a lethal weapon thing.
Thank you, Captain.
Thank you, Captain.
Thank you, Captain.
Okay, Captain?
No, Captain, after
No,
you.
no, you, Captain.
Thank you,
Enough
Captain.
with the
Thank you,
captain
Captain.
shit. Get
My
out.
captain, oh captain.
Yeah, my captain, oh captain. No better captain than Riggs and Murtaugh. We'll do our best to find a couple for you over on DK in the Thursday Night Football Showdown in your captain spot. If you're playing in a cash game, 50-50, head-to-head, double up, or you're playing in a small tournament with friends, single entry, that kind of thing, I think Jalen Hurts is your guy. He's 16,500 in the captain spot. He has a similar ceiling to Saquon Barkley, but I think he's just got a bit of a higher floor here in case the Eagles have to air it out. He's going to win either way. He's probably going to be a recipient of at least one tush-push touchdown, and he's $300 less at similar ownership. And the Thursday night game, if you're playing in the big one, you're playing in the Millie Maker, you want to get jiggy with it, you're going to have to get creative. So maybe go with George Pickens in your captain spot. Only 12K saves you a lot of money, and he's not picking up much ownership. I think the biggest weakness on the Philadelphia defense might be whoever the corner opposite of Mitchell and DeJounte Tom when he's in the slot is. So when they bring in DeJean, they might be on Lamb in the slot. I think Mitchell's going to follow him around. So it seems like Pickens is going to be the guy who gets to be open a little bit. He's obviously got the downfield ability. He can go ahead and snatch the touchdowns here. Not a great floor. Maybe they go another way. Maybe it's a Ferguson game. But if you're swinging for the fences in a large field tournament, consider George Pickens as your captain. On Friday night, again, cash game, small field. I think you just play it safe. You go with Patrick Mahomes. He's 15,000. It's weird unless you're kind of willing to roll the dice on Hampton. I don't know that I feel great about any of the players here. Lad McConkey is actually more expensive. He's the highest priced captain option. I just feel better about the floor for Mahomes here. I don't really know if it's the same ceiling play, but again, you're playing cash game, small field tournament. That's all you really need. If you're going to take a shot in a large field in the Friday night game, how about Xavier Worthy, the Chiefs wide receiver, 13-5 in your captain spot? He is pretty much the juice for the Chiefs. They need some speed on that offense. He has it for days. I think they're going to make a concerted effort to get him the ball. They're going to design some plays for him, especially early. Again, also could consider Hampton, tossed him out there. He is 12K if you want to dip down a little bit further. That's probably a little bit different of a game build where maybe you think the Chargers are going to win. They have a positive game script there. But I think in a big field, man, take the shot on Xavier Worthy, especially with Rashee Rice out of commission right now.
Outside of the captain position, anybody else sticking out to you?
If you want a value play on Thursday night, we mentioned him. We're doing our start sit. Jake Ferguson, he's 5,200 in the flex. He might need to score a touchdown to really pay it off, but we've seen him have, games with 8-9 receptions, something like that. If he winds up being the safety valve check down because they don't trust one of the running backs to do it, he could just compile PPR points. And again, good red zone guy. Just a touchdown and 3 catches probably more or less pays off the tag here. So again, kind of attacking the main weakness of that Philly defense at safety, especially when Cooper DeJean drops down to cover the slot. So nice place to target there. And in the Friday night game, an actual value play, how about Tyquan Thornton, the Chiefs wide receiver, only $1,200. It looks like he might be in line here to be the wide receiver 4 and probably the kick returner. He's probably going to be taking the role Justin Watson played for the last couple of years, kind of just the straight line down the field guy. He has that former second round pick for the Patriots, 4.3 speed, can get it done. He's at a really good camp here. And you kind of need one of these guys on DK. He doesn't even need a touchdown to pay it off. If he can just get, 2 grabs for 50 yards or so, there's your 7 points at $1,200. You got a stew going. So I like that here. And if you want to spend up on somebody other than a captain on Thursday night, I think it's AJ Brown, 9,400 here in your flex. Had a big monster game last year, opening night. Maybe that's, overshadowing a little bit. But even though when he struggled last year, when he came in, he tended to have these spike games. He is by far the preferred red zone option in the receiving game when you're outside of push range. So I certainly think there's a possibility he has a little 2-touchdown game here for you. 2 touchdowns and a hundo will go a long way. If he does that, he should probably be in your captain spot, but you got to pay up for somebody if you're paying up there for a non-quarterback, especially. You don't want to quite go up to Hurts or Saquon. I think Brown is your guy. And then in the Friday night game, we mentioned him, Omarion Hampton, only 8K in your flex. Tons to love here. Don't think Najee Harris is going to play a lot of snaps. The Kansas City run defense is good, but I just love the price tag and his possible role here. So I think you're rolling with that. And if you want to pack the stack in the back of the Mac, you're just looking to put a couple of guys together on Thursday night. If you play Pickens a captain, you could roll him with Dak Prescott, with Jake Ferguson and Saquon Barkley. Leaves you about 6,300 to fill out your lineup. You get the nice kind of secondary stack there with Dak, having Pickens, having the monster, running it back with Barkley on the other side. And then on Friday night, you go with the Xavier Worthy play at captain, pair him up with Mahomes, throw Tyquan Thornton as the value play in there, run it back with Hampton on the other side. Baby, you got a stew going. You have almost 8,700 per player to finish out the lineup. So there's a couple of kind of mini stacks I might use to build out some different lineup combinations this week. Hopefully that helps you out a little bit. It's fun to have the 2 early games here. I like the showdown, but again, you're going to have to, you need the monster and the value play, and then you just got to mix and match in the middle. That's where it's at.
To quote Cosmo Kramer,
Hey, who wants to have some fun?
because it's time for bet it, bank it, blow it. This is the wagering portion of the program, which, and don't get me wrong, I love fantasy football, but wagering on football, it's my bag, baby. Mills, what do we need to know before we hand out our picks?
That I should have worked on my Austin Powers impression, in that Heather Graham has just aged amazingly well. I was just rewatching Twin Peaks recently, and it's like young Heather Graham, old Heather Graham. it's the same picture. It's like the meme from The Office, man. So, and shout out to Austin Powers. I haven't rewatched those in a while, but I'm looking to. That sounds like a lot of fun. Feels like we're probably about due for a fourth one of those. It has been a minute. We are going to kick things off here. As I mentioned before, all of our odds and wagers from the DK Sportsbook, accurate as of Tuesday, September 2nd, 2025. And on Bet It, Bank It, Blow It, all of our wagers are in our preferred currency, the Cricket coin. In Cricket we trust. Make sure you watch season 17 of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia on the Hulu. It just wrapped up and it was spectacular. We're going to lead things off with what we call our golden grab bag. It's just basically all the wagers we like, but we're not quite confident enough to say it's our one and only wager for the week. So this is just other stuff we like on it. It's, again, a grab bag full of gold. That's the best kind of grab bag, right? And especially, it's free. It don't cost you nothing. You can't beat free gold.
Cannot beat free gold. We love those. And Mills, I got just a handful here that I like that I'm eyeing for this one. Let's start off in that first game here. I'd like to put 100 cricket coins on Philadelphia with an alternate spread here down to -6.5. I know. Jamie G doing the hedge thing. Look, it's week one. I'd rather win than lose. I feel pretty confident them covering by a touchdown here. 7.5, 8.5 just feels a tad too high for me. So teasing it down to 6.5, getting it at -150. 100 cricket coins there to take back 166 and change. Mills, I also like CeeDee Lamb. I heard he's pretty good at playing football, particularly wide receiver. I think they're going to throw the football. Your analysis is that they're a little weak in the secondary. Maybe that's the spot you can attack this Philadelphia defense. So I'm going to go ahead and put 100 cricket coins on CeeDee Lamb, 70 plus receiving yards. I think having George Pickens there helps him. And look, dude, a healthy CD, a healthy Dak, we've seen that before. I expect that to continue. That's the identity of this offense. For better or worse, that's what they're going to need to do. 70 plus receiving yards, getting it at -132 here. 100 cricket coins there to win 175. And then going down to Brazil. It's not quite as cool as going to Miami with Will Smith, but maybe there's a song out there about going to Brazil. But either way, we're there. I'm going to put 100 cricket coins on Kansas City with an alternate spread at -2.5. You notice a little trend there, Mills. Buying some comfort here, manufacturing a win. -2.5. I feel like they win with three or more. That buys me against a push. It's -140. 100 cricket coins to win 171. And then last but certainly not least, this is probably one of my favorites of these free gold coins that we got here, is putting 100 cricket coins on Omarion Hampton to have 14 plus rush attempts. That's +141. We're finally getting a plus here, finally getting a good number. 100 cricket coins to win 241. Yes, Najee Harris is there, but keep in mind he had an eye thing, didn't practice a lot this offseason. They're gonna want to control the football. 14 rush attempts for your stud rookie running back here in the first game in prime time against the defending AFC conference champion and 8-time division champion Chiefs. Oh yeah, baby. We're gonna get a healthy dose of him. 14 plus rush attempts there, +141. Love that one, Mills.
Yeah, I like that one. That was a good spot. I think the most neutral number is the 12 plus. That's kind of where the basic under over total is set at. So I like going up for it there. And I think it fits well kind of with your narrative here. I mean, that's the Chiefs, right? They're probably going to win on the last second field goal. That's how it works. They'll probably keep it close enough so he can approach that number of carries. Only way I would be worried is we find out before the game that Najee Harris literally lost his eye, but we see him on the sideline with the eye patch. I don't know. That's just cool, man. He might be getting more carries if he's willing to go full eye patch. That's all I'm saying.
Yes, dude. I think he should do the eye patch with the eye on it, and then I also think he should do the glass eye. Shout out to Last Action Hero.
Yeah, I thought you were going Sunny. I'm like, man, we're getting a lot of people
Well,
losing eyes. I'm
Sunny
Sunny
on
now. I got the
Sunny on the eye
lawyer.
patch, but then Last Action Hero when you flip the eye patch up for sure.
Yeah, we now have you got the Liam McPoyle with the eye patch and now the lawyer with the eye patch. So we're just waiting to see the third person who loses their eye with over on Sunny. And we love It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia because we love our degenerates. That's just who we are. I'm going to go dig a little bit further here with the 3 degrees of degeneracy. And Jamie G is trying to manufacture wins, and I am just basically trying to prove that I'm not a crackhead, more or less, to not put too fine a point on it. So we're going to start out with something we call the flounder. This is someone who's new to to degeneracy, like Flounder in Animal House. Like he's all good and he's got a nice fresh $100 here, 100 cricket coins. He wants to put it down on something, but he wants a quick return. So he's going to put it down at Dak Prescott. They have 300 plus passing yards. That's plus 276. So your 100 coins would bring back 376. We've been over it, but I believe two things here. The Cowboys will struggle on defense and the Cowboys will struggle to run the ball. You put those two things together, and I think Dak Prescott has got a stew going. RIP Carl Weathers. I really think you can exploit every member of the Eagle secondary, not named Mitchell or DeJean. So that's what I am scared about there. And then the second degree of degeneracy, you don't have as much money because now we're on to the Barney. This is Barney Gumble from The Simpsons. He's got enough money to pay Mo, enough that he can keep going in, but he can't make any progress paying off his tab. Mo had to even send away to NASA to figure this thing out. So we've only got 50 cricket coins here, but we still want some juice. So we're going to put him on George Pickens to have 100 plus receiving yards. That's plus 455. So 50 coins brings you back about 278 coins. We talked about that a lot. Maybe he needs a big play to get there, but I certainly think the volume is there for him to see, 10-ish targets. Given his efficiency over his career, I certainly think he can get to 100. And if you want a little extra degen, this is the X with two X's in extra. That's all about that. You need more X's. Just go ahead, parlay those two together. Parlay the Dak Prescott 300 plus yards with the Pickens 100 plus receiving yards, and just throw 10 coins on it. You don't need to throw a lot. You throw 10 on it, brings you back a cool hundo. It's plus 900 just to parlay those two. So that's if you want a little extra degeneracy, you can go that way, because finally, you get to the last degree of degeneracy. It's the cricket. It is the rickety cricket. You've gone so far that you literally live with the dogs now. Like you're staying at the dog's place. I don't mean you live with dogs like you have dogs at your house. I mean, you live down under the bridge with the dogs. So that's the full degen right there. So you only have 25 coins, but you really want to get out from under the bridge and live with the dogs. You got to turn that 25 coins into something. So we're going to go full return of the Mac, full welcome home, even though it's Brazil. Keenan Allen, 2+ touchdown score. That is plus 3,000. So you could turn 25 coins into 775 coins. We've seen him do this before. The Chargers lack a really imposing red zone threat. McConkey is probably more similar to Allen than to Mike Williams, basically. And they're looking for kind of that size there. Allen has a connection with Herbert. They get down in the red zone. Who is he looking for? He's looking for his guy, not once, not twice. Despite the Bears not being very good on offense last year, Allen still found the end zone 7 or 8 times, I think, and I think he could just, find that mind meld with Herbert. Doesn't need a lot of receptions, just needs to find the end zone twice. So if you're going to be a degenerate, there's a way you can do it. But if you don't want to be a degenerate, you might want to partay with the people. So I'd like to welcome you to the Parlay Partay, where we're pretending we are at Texas State University, partying with Andre Grimm, with Sinbad, Scott Bakula, Jason Bateman, all of our favorite 90s people, most notably Kathy Ireland. But you got to pay to get in. You got to pay the troll toll, so to speak. Jamie G, you got some legs on this parlay for the Partay, man. Unveil it for us here.
Absolutely, man. And before I do, just want to, it is an SGPX parlay. If those of you out there that don't know what that is, you have to enable it in the sports book. Once you do, it should allow you to do it for the forever. It will stay enabled, but it's basically where you can take a parlay in 2 separate single game parlays and parlay it into one, giving you the option to pull from 2 games to create your parlay. And that's exactly what we've done here. We've got the slate with Thursday night football and Friday night football, and we found a nice juicy 4-leg SGPX parlay with 2,309 odds. We really like that. Part 1 of the parlay here, the Dallas at Philadelphia game. The first leg, I'm taking that Philly -6.5. Feeling really good about that alt spread, -150. I'm also taking the CD Lamb, 100 plus receiving yards. That's plus 235. And then part 2, we're going into the KC and Chargers game. So the third leg of this one is going to be Kansas City -2.5 on the alternate spread. Again, feeling really good about them winning by a field goal or more. And then leg 4, Omarion Hampton, 50 plus rushing yards. That's plus 100 on its own. Definitely feel like if he gets 14 plus carries, he's going to get at least 50 yards. So really feeling good about all 4 of these, man. Very plausible here. 100 cricket coins at plus 2,309 odds will win us $2,409 back. That in Boston Mills, We call that a boggin.
And it's funny because I worry about, looking like a degenerate here. And meanwhile, you're talking about parlaying parlays with parlays. I mean, that is just another level of degeneracy. So, of course, I love it.
That is what we do. Shout out to all the degens, but always bet responsibly. To close out the episode, we're going to our own little happy place. And why is it a happy place, you ask? Because it's where the golden goose lives. And that golden goose is laying the golden eggs, which we in turn pass on to you. We're hitting you with our absolute favorite wagers from each game. If you can only make one single wager or two, this is what you're looking for. These are our biggest plays heading in to Thursday and Friday night.
Oh, excuse me, it's my turn. I'm sorry. I was in my happy place and Julie Bowen was in there. I apparently share some things in common with Happy Gilmore and his happy place. So it's a fine place to be. And my happy place on Thursday night is going to be at Lincoln Financial Field. Like Jamie G has a little bit of trepidation here about the 7.5, but I didn't love the minus 150. So I wound up just kind of scrapping that all together. And I'm just going to take the over. Give me over 47.5. Dallas at Philadelphia. Questions about both defenses. Both offenses look like they can get it done. I think there's going to be some points scored. I think generally we've seen, especially since they've changed some of the rules around the offseason work, that offenses tend to start out a little bit faster than defenses, especially these couple of opening night games over the years. Always seems like the total gets gassed up a little bit like that. So I feel kind of confident going with the over here. I think you want to attack the Eagles D early in the season. Like you've said, got a young team. They have potential. Might take a little bit to come together for Fangio to kind of get the right stew going there. So I'm hitting the over 47.5, minus 110. 100 coins to bring back about 191. GDG, what do you have for us in the Thursday night game?
Yeah, look, man, I'm with you on the over, but I think one of those touchdowns is going to be a Jalen Hurts anytime touchdown score. I'm just so confident in the tush push or him scrambling in here. I'm putting 100 cricket coins on Jalen Hurts anytime touchdown score. It is minus 150. If you're looking for better juice, I understand it, but I feel really confident in Jalen Hurts getting one touchdown. 100 cricket coins to win, 166 cricket coins. Honestly, Mills, I feel like this might happen within the first quarter, and I can just relax and count my dough. So definitely feeling good about the Jalen Hurts anytime touchdown score.
How about Friday night, man? I went first on Thursday. It's your turn to go first on Friday. Friday night is a great night for football. We can really only use the last Boy Scout thing about twice a year here. We get this game, the Black Friday game. So we're rolling it up, man. Friday night football, man. Give us that golden egg from the Golden Goose.
Friday night's a great night for football. Week one, international game, division game. I'm going to play it a little bit safe here with my top pick that I'm putting the most money on, but I'm taking the Kansas City money line here, Mills. Yes, it's minus 170. A lot of you guys are going to cringe, be like, Jamie G, come on, man. I get it. It's week one. I'm not about to blow my whole bankroll. I would rather win than lose, and I don't care what the amount is. 100 cricket coins on this one. I'm going to win 158. Feel very confident in Kansas City winning this one. Just want to see a little bit before I dive into some more exotic stuff here. So just going to play it safe and take the Chiefs money line.
And what he also hesitates to say is this: when he closes his eyes to go to sleep at night, after he gets done dreaming of Josh Allen, he just sees Kansas City just looming in the darkness every time. So yeah, I don't blame you.
Those are the nightmares. But yeah,
well, that's why the dreams give way to nightmares, and that's how it worked. Trust me, I am as surprised as anybody that the Eagles won that Super Bowl. I am not going to lie to you. In that game, I'm going to stay on the Kansas City side of the ball. I'm going to put my 100 cricket coins on Xavier Worthy to have over 68.5 rushing plus receiving yards. That's minus 112, so 100 coins to bring back about 189. I like him to get, call it 10 to 15 rushing yards. Doesn't seem like a lot, but then all of a sudden you're only looking for a little bit over 50 receiving yards. He gets 4 targets. I think 4 receptions. I think he's pretty much there. That all seems very reasonable to me. I like that number, like you said, could be a little bit aggressive. Could have tried to juice that up a little bit, but I'm very content here. I feel confident he's going to get at least in that 80 to 100 total yards range. So the 68.5, I don't want to say it's easy money. It just feels easy.
I mean, honestly, he runs one jet sweep for 15, 20 yards down the field. You got your rushing yards there. And if he catches, he's kind of their big play explosive guy. He could get the 40, 50 yards kind of in one or two receptions. So, he doesn't need a ton of targets to get that is my point. So I like that a lot.
Yeah, they'll manufacture a couple of short area touches, like you said, the jet sweep, the reverse, a couple of bubble screens, that kind of thing. And he has the, run after the catch ability to easily kind of turn one of those into 20, 25 yards. And at that point, then it's just a math problem. As long as the Chiefs don't get up by too much, that would probably be the only concern is they really find a way to run the ball effectively. But the Chargers are pretty solid against the run, so I'm not that trusting of the Chiefs rushing offense, so I'm not that concerned about it.
Anything else before we head out of here? Week 1, man. It's here. I mean, that's
I can't believe I keep fumbling with the dates and times. I feel like we had one less month or one less week in August than usual or something like that. I've just been like a week behind forever. So I guess thank God, like people are talking like, oh, go to 18 games, start the season on Labor Day so you can line it up with the President's weekend or whatever with the Super Bowl. I don't know if I would have been ready for football last weekend, man. So I think it's in a perfect spot. But like Jamie G said, man, don't get out over your skis too early, no matter what you're doing. Don't overreact to a win or a loss. And just because like you're playing against someone on Thursday night football in fantasy and they put up like 50 points from two dudes, your season isn't over yet, trust me.
no, it's a long season. Enjoy it. Have some fun. More than anything else, have some fun. Pace yourself. Make a couple of good plays that you think you like. Have some fun in fantasy. Make sure to remember to do all the things, right? If you're playing Survivor, remember to put your picks in. Remember to check your lineups. Remember to check all the things to make sure you're not taking any unnecessary goose eggs. I'm guilty of signing up for a bunch of stuff. Just manage it. Have some fun. Thank you guys for checking us out. We will be here. We'll be dropping the Sunday main slate and the Monday night primetime game here. And Sunday night primetime games coming up soon. And then we'll be here each and every week to help you guys out with our picks and whatnot, all the good stuff. Mills will let you know where you can find us on social media. And you know what? Let us know what you're thinking. If you're going to trail any of these, if you got your own plays that you love, we'd love to hear it, man. So drop a thumb, subscribe, and we can't wait to spend this NFL season with you.
And JBG will also accept any fan art you have of Josh Allen. Pretty much anything as
Yes, I
long as
will.
it is a pro Buffalo Bills with Josh Allen. Jamie G will wear it, put
Go
it on
Bills.
his wall, whatever. He'll put it on his car. He'll get a flag made out of it, whatever you want, man. So he's there for that. We're there for that. Thank you for being here for Seize the Gap Fantasy Football. Once again, you can find our content wherever you get your pods and on YouTube. Find us on social media at Seize the Gap FF and on the internet at seizethegapff.com. Simple and easy to remember, just like those flaps. FLAPS. Follow, like, and please subscribe. If you had fun, please hit the thumb. I'm Magnum Mills. He's Jamie G. Please remember to seize the gap and stop being so inefficient.
And I don't care if you're old. Seize the gap.